In this episode of our Sweet Hometown podcast, we're going to talk about beautification within our communities. We're going to talk to two of our executive directors from Columbiana and Woodlawn.
So we are excited to have Hannah from the Woodlawn District in Birmingham and Dee from Columbiana to talk to us a little bit about what goes on in your district, but we'll let you guys introduce yourselves first. So we'll start with Dee. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Columbiana.
Yes, I'm Dee Starkey. I am the Executive Director of Columbiana Main Street. We are getting ready to celebrate 10 years as being part of Main Street.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, exciting.
So I'm Hannah Tucker-Flarity. I work for Rev Birmingham, with economic development nonprofit on a mission to create vibrant commercial districts. So I work in the Woodlawn district. It's a lovely little neighborhood in Birmingham with a terrific historic commercial district that's vibrant and full of joy.
It is very exciting, and I got to visit not long ago your nearly completed project. I think you have a little bit more street furniture to put out in your project, the grant project that we helped you all with. And it's really cool. And I can't wait to, now that the weather is warmer, and I have a few more people in there. It was a little bit chilly the day that
It was very cold.
But we're excited about that. So we're going to kick this off just asking you a few questions. So we'll start with Hannah this time. When you think about a beautiful district that feels inviting and well cared for, what elements.
Ooh, elephants. That's exciting.
And how are each of your districts working toward making that element into your district? So I know in particular that you're doing some trees and some other things in Woodlawn. So if you could talk a little bit about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so there's a few things. I mean, I think the core of any district, any Main Street would think about this as the core is going to be clean and safe. Does it feel good? Does it look clean and cared for? So a major thing that we've been able to do in the past year is actually secure funding to hire a clean street team member. And so we have someone, he's actually at work right now. We have someone working about 10 to 15 hours a week, walking, picking up litter, weeding, and those kind of things. And overall, I kind of think you don't really notice when a street is clean, but you sure notice when it's dirty. And so having someone come through and clean has been a major benefit to Woodlawn. But also, of course, we finished an outdoor courtyard, but we kind of have a project upcoming for this year to install some trees. Of course, you might not notice, this place, there's an alive tree, but you notice when there is a dead tree well full of weeds with nothing in it. And so getting on our Main Street some more landscaping has been a big focus for us. And so hopefully there'll be some trees coming in 2026. We've done some planting. We planted a pollinator garden. We put some things on a plot in our parking lot. So this has been an ongoing work, but I certainly think you start stacking things on top of clean and safe. You start adding, for us, the focus is landscaping.
Now your trees are coming from, are you partnering with somebody?
Yeah, we're partnering with a fellow Birmingham nonprofit, Cool Green Trees.
Right.
They have worked all throughout Birmingham. They're so knowledgeable. They've been terrific community partners. So we started that conversations with them when I first started over a year and a half ago. And so to have that paying off now is a huge joy for both of our organizations.
It is. And just because you have a lot of concrete, and you do too, the temperature, we actually had a service not long ago where we were I'm trying to remember, Huntsville somewhere, and we checked the temperature in the shade and the temperature in the parking lot on the concrete, and it was almost a 40-degree difference. It was so stinking hot that day. It was awful. So trees make a difference, and it is hot in Alabama, so it's love to have some shade, and you just need to make sure you have the right trees. We do have a landscape guide that's free on our Main Street Alabama website under resources. If you're doing a project and you're not a Main Street program, we would still love you to have the right plants in your district. So feel free to look at that. It's called the Main Street Alabama Landscape Guide.
And we can link that on the podcast as well. So I'll link that on YouTube as well.
Great. So Dee, what's going on in Columbiana on this question?
So with the beautification, we have a beautification board in Columbiana. So it's great because we're able to partner with Main Street and the city to keep our city beautiful. So the beautification board maintains flower baskets along Main Street, but then Main Street does hanging baskets and floral arrangements to add that extra touch. They've added the Edison bulbs across the street to give that extra lighting and that extra district. We're getting ready to have our 8th and 9th mural built this summer, put in. So really adding the arts to it, which will connect the Arts Council to our Main Street because there's an alleyway there, working with the city on a pocket park that'll hopefully be done this summer. That's already started the construction. So lots of things coming together as a group and a collaboration with both the city and Main Street.
That's great. And that perfectly leads into the next question on walkability.
Yeah. So, we all know that walkability, we just, our previous podcast was just talking to the Freshwater Land Trust and talking about trails and how they connect. And, we talked a little about Rotary Park and all the different trails that connect throughout Birmingham. So we kind of know that walkability is kind of the heartbeat of a thriving district, right? Are you able to walk down there? Do you have to park? Is there ways to get around without having to worry about, like you said, clean and safe, right? So how do you see the improvements in all your stuff? So the sidewalks, the lighting, the landscaping, the shade, seating, all the things that y'all are doing that you're doing so great. How is it shaping the way people move throughout your district? Are you seeing them slow down a little bit more? Are you seeing more money spent in your districts? How is that affecting you? We'll start with Dee this time since we started with Hannah on the last one.
Yeah, so we're also the county seat for Shelby County. So we have the courthouse and things there. So definitely we see a little bit more walkability because people are leaving their breaks at the courthouse and things like that to come to Main Street. So having those sidewalks connecting to that are very important. So Columbiana has a great sidewalk system along with rails that separate the road from the sidewalk for safety and things like that. So you do see those people come and walk in and they'll stop in a shop and shop and look around. Part of that is the great window displays that Columbiana has that entice from the sidewalks into the businesses as well.
Great.
So we have two main corridors in our Main Street. One is First Avenue North, which is State Highway. You can't do a ton with that. The other is First Avenue South. And really last year we finished a project. It's been ongoing for some time before my time with Rev Birmingham. But we took a 4-lane road down to 2. We added in street parking and then a multi-use lane for bikes, walking traffic, those kind of things. And for us, we've talked a lot about just queuing drivers and pedestrians that this is a place where you stop and stay. It's not a place where you pass through. And we've seen some great connectivity through that. But even before I was working for a Rev, I lived around this neighborhood. I used to walk with my children to the coffee shop, and crossing those 4 lanes was scary. And now to bring it down to 2, to have those cues that say this is a place where we're going to stop, we're going to slow down, this is a place where you can walk, it has been terrific. So that's been a major project for us to kind of cue to that. And of course, we have some ongoing stuff. We have some sidewalks that are not ADA compliant. And so that walkability needs to improve on one side of our Main Street, which is 55th Place. And so working with some community partners to hopefully address that in the next few years as well.
Well, they have definitely slowed down through that area. I was living in Birmingham when the 2 major highway, the spaghetti bowl was being re-spaghettied at that point, where all the stuff connects. And everybody, not everybody, almost everybody, it felt like they were going through your district at a high rate of speed.
Yes.
Because you had one-ways and just a lot of traffic. So that road diet that you guys did where you really took it down to slow it down. And we said it in the previous podcast, cars don't have wallets, people do. So you really need to make it an environment where people feel comfortable getting out of their cars, that it's safe. Yeah. And you don't have to worry about your car door taken off if somebody's speeding by, or that it's safe to cross the street with your children are all very important things. So I give big kudos to Birmingham and Rev for you guys doing that Woodlawn, because I know that probably took some time and energy to get that.
It was a long project.
But it made a huge difference. I mean, just the last time I was there, it's like, oh, this is so much easier than it used to be. So kudos. Well done. So let's talk a little bit about the beautification efforts. Are more successful when people feel engaged, when the people who live there are engaged with it, the residents and businesses, and how they're participating. So a little bit of background: I was the Main Street director in Emporia when the streetscape project happened there, and a year of my life I'll never get back. But it's beautiful. It is a lot. I mean, the construction was just a lot. But at the end of it, we ended up with a 50 plus. We had a big district, 50 plus little pocket gardens. Sounds really great. Yeah. Till it comes time to, clean them and keep them going. So we really had to engage the community to help with that. The city clearly helped with it as well, and it was all irrigated, so it was lovely. It was Kansas, so it's hot and not as much rain as we have here. So the irrigation was important, but you had to clear out the bushes and get ready for the fall and do all those things. We ended up with what we called an Adopt a Garden program. And the businesses in front either took care of them or residents adopted them. And it turned out to be just a really cool project for people to say, if I only have to do one, I'm in. If I have to do 50, I'm not so excited about 50. So how do you try to engage folks in the beautification projects or the walkability or engaging people in things that you're doing in the district so that they feel a part of the action, I guess, is what I'm asking.
We don't yet have anything as formal as a program. That's a terrific idea. I feel so simple to say, but it's really just asking people their opinions and their input. Like I find often coming to folks, property owners, as business owners, saying like, we have like these 5 ideas.
Yeah.
What do you think? Which one should we go for? What are your opinions on adding in? That way we have a starting point and then we can get some input. But I find just asking people what they are willing to do with their opinions takes some ownership.
It also gives them a sense of ownership. It just being able to say, well, I helped make that decision. I think sometimes giving them even those first steps into something and giving them, even if it's not really their idea, them thinking that it's their idea, having them, I do think it gives them that sense of pride of, oh, well, I helped do that. I did that.
Yeah. It's a part of the story. You've added to it.
Absolutely.
And then hopefully they'll be more willing to volunteer if you need help on projects. And things as well.
One little entry point can go to a lot more, for sure.
Absolutely.
And one of our things, I mentioned those hanging baskets earlier. Us as Main Street, we get all the materials of the supplies, and we host a plant and sip at one of our local businesses. So inviting the communities.
I know which business.
I know which one.
Yes. And so we invite all the community to come out, and it turns into a fun event. They are enjoying beautifying their city, and they're the ones getting their hands dirty. And when that hanging basket's up, they know they had the pride as them and their best friend just planted all the flowers that are in that one hanging around town.
Are they self-watering baskets?
They are going to be some.
That's a big thing. Even though we get a lot more rain here than I was accustomed to in the state that I came from, you're not keeping anything alive in the heat if you don't have water.
I mean, I have a hard time doing it at my house, so I can't imagine trying to do it with
a lot.
Yeah.
So I get it. Totally
That reflection.
It can be crazy.
So as your districts continue to evolve, what kind of upgrades and enhancements do you believe will have the biggest impact, both on aesthetics as well as functionality? And I don't mean just next year. I just mean in the future. I know that there's some pretty big projects going on in the Woodlawn area and with Columbiana. I know, with you being a newer director, just started there, kind of envisioning how that's going to look. But just kind of what are some of those enhancements you think that you can see, or maybe ones you want to see in the future?
So, we have a lot of things working on. Main Street in Columbiana has been talking about a pocket park for a while. The mayor has started that project. It's a brand new mayor as well as a brand new Main Street director. So the idea is that hopefully by this Liberty Day, which is at the end of June, we'll have our pocket park and mini pavilion. There was a storage unit in that area that was just a sheet metal storage unit. It has already come down. So we have moved forward in that, and that leads the way to our alley project, where our alley connects our art district, our arts council, to our Main Street, and that building going down in that park right there will add to it. We'll have a direct connection with it. We're doing 2 murals that are slotted to come in this summer. Already have the design done within the last couple of weeks, so they're going to be beautiful. One of which is going to have a selfie spot that, as people are walking in that alley, can stop and have a beautiful selfie.
We have started to look at, just to give you a quick idea, and then we'll get to you. Because selfie spots tend to change out.
Yes.
Rather than paint, you might look at using illumographics, and it's a thin aluminum where they print the design on it, and it looks really good, but it doesn't mess up the brick or whatever you're putting it on, and it's easy to change out. So if you wanted to change out every year or two, where painting, you're starting all over again. Just a suggestion. It's something I'm starting to see more and more on communities who are doing a lot of selfie spots because you want to change them out. So think about illumographics on it. Could you still use the same design?
Yeah.
It'll just be printed, and then you stick it to the wall. And it's really cool. It's crazy stuff. So what's going on? Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Good stuff.
I mean, I've already feel like I've said this before, but we're talking a lot about just landscaping. I think it's a fairly low cost but long term payoff, and so we've already done some projects, and having some buy-in, having a core of volunteers come out and be a part of adding those plants in has been big.
I love your idea about having your clean. What do you call
Clean
it?
and safe.
Our Clean Streets team member.
That's it. Clean Streets team member. That's what I was trying to. That was a lot of that.
That actually is a lot of words.
Now, is that part of the CAPS system, or is that?
He's not capped. We follow a similar model, but he's been paid for through some fundraising that we've been able to do.
Wow.
With our terrific investor relations team has
I love that.
secured our ability to do this.
Oh, kudos.
I'm so thankful.
And it is important, I think, when you're a local director, and like I said, I was one for 10 years. That cleanup, that consistent, just getting out and picking up trash and trying to get connected to other folks. I was blessed to be in a college town with fraternities and sororities and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts that all needed some sort of community service. So I typically could get a group a month. People pick up trash for pizza. I learned that. At least that age group. But they were super helpful, and that was how we did ours, because we couldn't afford to have somebody on staff to do it. But there's different ways. For Columbiana, it might be something which different group could take on some sort of beautification each month might be a good idea. But just keeping it clean and the clean and safe side of it too. I know in Birmingham it's just the CAPS. It's
our CAP
nice.
team.
It's good to see them out. It's good to
explain a little bit about what CAPS is, though, for those people who don't know.
So Red Birmingham actually has 3 districts that we work in. Woodlawn is obviously one of them, and we follow the Main Street model. We have 2 others, our downtown Birmingham district and our 5 Points South. Those are both business improvement districts. I'll call them BIDs later, but so you know, because that's my language. Yeah. But they use you have CAP team members, block by block program, but they are people that kind of function in different ways, but they're basically the face of the district. So they walk and they pick up litter and they do some light weeding and that kind of thing. They're someone that if you see someone in that blue jacket, you can stop them and ask them where McQueen Science Center is, and they can direct you. So they're kind of hospitality of the district as well. So that's a model that those the 2 bids kind of follow. And then, of course, we kind of picked up on that same thing. So job description for our Clean Streets team looks very similar. They have similar equipment and that kind of stuff, but they're not paid for via a bid because Woodlawn's not yet a bid.
Right.
That makes sense.
Interesting. I know that Montgomery recently did the same thing. They have a block by block as well.
Okay.
So larger or more urban communities tend to be able to do that a little bit better than the smaller ones because the BID is more readily accepted typically in an urban area than it is in a more in the smaller communities. So that's just something to consider. We do have our Main Street Alabama grants, and I know back in the day we wanted to buy. It was called a green machine back then. I don't know what it's called now, but it was a little mini street sweeper.
Oh,
it was the coolest thing. So we raised money to get to try to get one of those because it would have been handy for us after events and activities because we had a rather large district.
Yeah.
That could be an idea for a grant if you want to use. I would readily accept that as a grant application.
Yes.
To you if you're
A little
interested in applying, for something along those lines, because I think anything that makes a local director's life a little easier, having lived your life, I'm in.
Yes, I mean, being able to come in and say, like, oh, I noticed this. Can you go?
Would this maybe be helpful to you?
Yes, and it's delightful to have somebody else feel some ownership over the district and watch some things and kind of walk alongside you and kind of notice what's going on. It's a really wonderful thing.
It is the funnest part of my job to be able to go into the districts and really see what they have going on and see the pride that the local directors have. They're always so excited. So, you think this will be a 30-minute visit, and 3 hours later, you still haven't showed me half the stuff you really want to show me. And that's cool. I really like being able to have that much excitement about all the things that are going on.
Exciting getting the merchants are getting excited about the changes and the things going. Even one of our business owners, same one we do, the sipping plant, are excited for the alley because that's at their back door.
Oh, yeah.
So they are actually going to be putting in a back patio to complement what we're doing on Main Street of beautifying that area. So that will, again, continue to entice, and that's working with the merchant, the business owner, and the city all to make it all to come together.
Absolutely. That alley and the connectivity to the Shelby County Arts Center. It's why wouldn't you want to? It's really from the trail system that we were talking about in our previous podcast. That whole connectivity around Columbiana makes perfect sense to me. And there shouldn't be a separation between you. So having that building gone and having a clear line of sight to the Shelby County Arts Center. Clearly, I need to get back over there and check this.
Yes.
Excited about the alley plans because I know that's been in place for a long time.
Yes.
Good for you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us as we close out this episode? cool stuff going on in your district? Events, activities?
Any events coming up that we need to plug for you?
We've started a monthly. I think I kind of stole this idea from another Main Street, but we do First Friday in a much smaller way. So like a monthly activation. We usually do like one little program. Our businesses jump in and activate. They put their signs out and they promote it on Instagram. We're getting more and more buy-in as we continue to do it. And then Rev offers. Usually we call it Reynolds and Woodlawn. That's our contribution to First Friday. So we have that every first Friday of the month until October, utilizing our Woodlawn courtyard that was funded in part by Main Street. It's our brand new. It was one of our big beautification projects in 2025 and 2026. So that's kind of something we've got going on pretty consistently through the summer. So we just had our first one active. We were outside in the courtyard in beautiful spring weather, and so we'll continue to be.
So we have Touch a Truck coming up. One of our local merchants helps sponsor it and puts it together. So it is great. It has grown so much it can't be on Main Street. We've actually got to go to that Arts Council in that alley and use that space to bring it up, which is great.
Little kids just love that. It's so much fun.
We're having a car show, which also helped from one of the merchants. It's going to also help support the local high school band, and the band will be out there performing as well as a concert. And then we have several ribbon cuttings coming up as we have a lot of anniversaries on Main Street. Davis Drugs has been 70 years on Main Street. And then we have a new business that'll be opening up this month called Ford Copper Pennies, which is an event space and pop-up restaurant and pop-up event building, which is really great. And then from there, our Music on Main will be starting in June.
That is how many weeks?
Every Friday for the month of June and July.
And I will say that, again, because we are the Sweet Hometown podcast, make sure you are looking at our website, our sweethometown.com website that has all of the different communities, and you can go in and search. And we will link the Columbiana and the Woodlawn websites onto our podcast as well, just so you guys have a link to those as well. And you'll be able to, the ladies are very good about updating all their information on the website. So everything that they're talking about should be on that website for you.
And I love that Hannah brought up, we stole this from another Main Street community. We are all about R&D, and that's rip off and duplicate. Whenever you possibly can. There's so many great ideas out there, and it's been so much fun. In fact, I just told David the other day when I was talking to him, we really like Hannah. She's a keeper. He goes, we like her too. I thought, I think she's great. So we've loved getting to know you and having you really be engaged and involved with the Main Street approach. And then, of course, Dee worked in Calera, and now you're in Columbiana. So it's great to have. The best part of this job is having enthusiastic, passionate people about what they do. So, and these are two of the best. We're excited to have you guys with us today. And thank you for sharing and taking time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
If you have questions that you would like to pose to us on maybe future episodes of the Sweet Hometowns podcast, just send those to info@mainstreetalabama.org.
You can learn more about Main Street Alabama and the Sweet Hometowns Initiative at sweethometowns.com. or follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates and episode highlights.
The Sweet Hometowns podcast is a production of Main Street Alabama in partnership with Video Visions Media Marketing.